The higher you go up on a hill or a mountain, the less space there is. Dudes is like up like really high and trying to pull people from below them into their space so that they can keep creating.
We start entering our new age once we make it an environment where collaboration is okay, where influences come in and out.
This video is sponsored by Playlist Push, the music promotion service trusted by a community of over 25,000 artists. Is anyone else out there getting tired of trying to grasp so tightly to these individual goals that we might have or be told to have these days?
Like the idea of like soul independence doesn't exist. It's always about the plural and it's always about every individual involved.
In the fallout from the pandemic, I think we can pretty safely say that a lot of the culture that we swim in, which had already been on a steady march towards individualism, has gone into a state of overdrive. Increasingly, we have become atomized, and our goals, passions, things we find joy in, are being sold to us not necessarily as ways to connect more deeply with the real people or communities around us. Instead, the message is too often to excel alone or achieve beyond others around you. It makes everything harder, and despite the well-worn myth about artistic excellence, no artist is actually an island, and for most of us it's a deep connection to the world and other people, not locking ourselves away, that is actually not only going to be the harder thing to do, but also going to be the thing that actually unlocks real epiphany or real change.
Once you have the identity, you'll find birds of that feather, and then you can flock together because it's easier with people than without people.
It doesn't take a long step back here to realise that most of the need to achieve in these individual ways is actually based on and sold to us quite explicitly through our own insecurities. That sense that we're inherently not enough, perhaps, we're less than we should be, or less than we could be, or not as good as others around us, or need to prove ourselves, perhaps. So as we get into the video, and we're going to be looking at a Patreon member who reached out with a specific thing that they're struggling with at the moment. I want to think about these ideas of community, finding real communities around us that are based around doing the things that we're really passionate about, and we can engage with in long-term ways which are going to actually be truly nourishing.
So it's like the existence of an artist should not be too much in the work, that the work is more important than the artist, and the signature is, for me, a stupid thing.
Now, just before we jump in here, I wanted to introduce you to a new sponsor that I connected with, who are supporting the work that I do on this channel, and that's Playlist Push, the music promotion service trusted by a community of over 25,000 artists. When Playlist Push first approached me, to be honest, I was initially quite skeptical because I've never put music on Spotify myself. After a call with the team at Playlist Push, I found an approach from their side of having a deep knowledge of the music curation area there and properly caring about helping artists place their songs in a way that can work for them. Playlist Push is going to connect your songs to its community of over 4,000 verified playlists using the knowledge they've built up over 7+ years of doing this. Operating within this tough space, Playlist Push are offering a real service to people who want to use Spotify to get their music out to more listeners. For customers who need help with building or managing their campaign, the support team at Playlist Push are available with the knowledge to help you use and do your best with their product that you possibly can. So yeah, if you're looking to get a hand with reaching more listeners on Spotify, consider going to check out what Playlist Push could offer you, and use that link below, which will help tell Playlist Push that Creative Minds sent you over there, and also allow you to check out what you could do with that campaign for free. A huge thanks to Playlist Push for supporting the work that I do on this channel. Honestly, without the sponsors, I really couldn't put the time and effort that I do to make these things exist. So yeah, the support there matters. And with that said, let's jump back into the video.
Don't show your signatures. I hate signatures. And that's why I made those ribbons with my name on it. That when a name is repeated too many times, like a word repeated too many times, vanishes. You know, you don't even remember, you start not remembering even the meaning of that thing if you repeat it all the time. So that's why I was kind of being a little bit cynic about signature by making these ribbons.
So yeah, one of the things that got me really thinking that I wanted to definitely make this video and got me starting to think and write a little bit along these lines was a Patreon message that one of the members there sent over to me, and this was from a member called Ashley, and I'm just going to read that out, and it's on the screen there too. So Ashley sent over: "Hi there. Something I've been having to learn recently is the concept of finding joy in the difficulties of the creative process. I'm a writer at heart, so I already enjoy the challenges of writing, but I'm trying to become an illustrator, which is an area I'm totally unfamiliar with. Instead of finding joy in the challenges of illustration, I get frustrated and stop. How can I find joy in a process that's so difficult, especially when I'm so new to it and absolutely everything feels like a challenge?" And in a following message, Ashley mentioned to me a little bit more about themselves and a struggle that they have with severe ADHD, and how that can relate to difficulties they have when they try to apply, you know, quote unquote willpower to just focusing more on a challenge, on something they want to learn. And yeah, it was that message that when I read it, it brought me back to those ideas that I'd been having myself around the importance of real community, and a little bit of reframing around how we engage with skills we want to learn or things we want to move forward with in our creative process, and a reframing that really focuses on, you know, reaching out and try and actually engage in communities that can support us.
And so a thing I appreciate about what you do is that, and how you sort of govern your career, is that, like, look, Odd Future is a super famous collective, and I've seen the interaction, like whenever you know, release an album or just do anything publicly, like you have like legit hardcore fans, but then you'll pop up with Mike, you'll have Arm & Hammer on your record. You're on a Quelle Chris record. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, obviously they're super dope, but they're not, I don't think anybody would constitute them as like uber famous. But I guess I'm curious as to, like, you know, why did you decide to go that route when you could have easily went the other route if you wanted to?
The other thing isn't sustainable. It's not like, and it's not where real innovation is happening at. Everyone that might have more fame, they're pretty panicked, bro. They're looking, I don't know if you can see that they, like, I don't know, if you think about it visually, the higher you go up on a hill or a mountain, the less space there is. So dudes is like up like really high and trying to pull people from below them into their space so that they can keep creating. Otherwise, it's just like a snake eating its tail. It's just you rapping at a mirror or with other dudes that live at the top of hills. That fame doesn't equate to like the best, you know what I mean, to skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta go where I'm moved, and that's, you know, it's not based on like fame.
Mm-hmm.
I can really speak from experience when I say that often we might be pushed towards that idea of wanting to isolate with our work because we feel like we need to go into a place where we can really create something great. And then in some way that thing that we're trying to create, it almost starts to act as a screen in between us and the world, as opposed to that more nourishing, or perhaps we could say integrated kind of expression. These feelings might come from a need to protect ourselves, to create a boundary between ourselves and our passions and the world. But that kind of thinking is what makes all this so hard. What if we always left the studio door open?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. My name is Agatha, I'm 25 years old, and I'm a sneaker designer based in Italy. And my question for you, Virgil and Sam, is being a mentor means also sharing and collaborating. Many creatives in our society are jealous of their ideas, they are especially in the workplace. So how should school teach to young people this sense of sharing and collaboration?
I think that it's really good that you've got the reality of being a footwear designer, because it's so important for the next generation coming up to understand that, to articulate or build any type of product, whether it be a sculpture, whether it be a piece of footwear, whether it be a jacket, whether it be a shed, it takes more than one person to do so. So this like idea
A work
of
team.
exactly that, like the idea of like sole independence doesn't exist. It's always about the plural, and it's always about every individual involved.
We're coming up on a sphere where there's going to be a new name for how we work. There's a new name for ego. There's a new name for, it's not like Da Vinci, like Sam is saying, like Bernini, like my name is on it. I was the only person to touch this stone and create that. Or paint the Sistine Chapel was done by one person for the whole time. Like there's these myths, or, you know, they're not like, you know, the negative side. There's this idea of creation with someone's name on it that has educated a whole new generation that you're only valid if you were this sort of sole creator, right? And as you say, in a realistic sense, if you go to an art studio, if you go to like a production, making a Converse shoe, you know, it's a different experience to make those things than might be projected.
In this climate then, the real rebellion or real act of empowerment probably isn't going to be to strive on with something alone, but to find people in our real physical environment and form connections that might slowly nourish the things that we love to do and open us up to possibilities around it that we maybe would have never foreseen on our own. It's those things that are really going to have the power to bring that creative epiphany perhaps, or that sense that you're expressed in a way that's actually really left you feeling satisfied and yeah, enough.
That makes me think of some interview or the stuff you would read about, like when Dilla and Madlib were like hearing each other, and they were, I think there's some quote that I'm paraphrasing, but they were like, you know, it was like he was talking to me. Like, you know, if you feel like someone's work like really speaks to you, that's like a two-way street, you know what I mean? If my work came along and like awakened something in somebody that made them want to do something, and it was like, oh, I can speak in this language right here, and then let me build on it, and then it comes back to me, and I'm like, oh, I see what you did with that. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay. Then it becomes like a, you know, the conversational back and forth, and so it's symbiotic.
Yeah. Like
if you're a superstar, dude, go do that shit. if you have like the fortitude, the mental fortitude to like handle some of what comes with that, go do that. But I think music is like, it's a job, like, you know, like being a doctor is a job. There's no, I mean, I guess there's some superstar doctors like Dr. Miami and shit, but there's just doctors and they take care of people, you know what I mean? And I think music is the same thing, bro. It's, we take care of ourselves with it, and so we take care of people with it. So it should be able to support you. It should be able to give you what you need. And I think if you take care of it, you take care of yourself, you take care of the people around you, it'll treat you good. If you try and pimp it, you gonna hoe yourself. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people. People take their ability and try and bleed it. And it just ends up making you, the person that's doing that, look pretty crazy. But yeah, man, I think it comes back to like love. If you love it, if you love yourself, you're showing love to it, showing love to people around you, I think you're gonna be okay.
All right, I'm going to bring this one to an end now, but coming up on the screen in a minute, I want to put a video that deals with similar themes to this one about the importance of engaging in real physical community and how that can, in the long run, actually bring forth that more nourishing and true creative expression. Thanks for being here and enjoying this one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a like if you think it would be cool if this video reached more people out there. With all that said, peace. I'm going to see you soon. And yeah, peace.